They thought you'd always be there. They thought you were just a placeholder, a comfort, an option. They got used to your consistency, used to your kindness, used to your loyalty. But they made one fatal mistake. They underestimated you, and now they will feel the absence, the void, the ache that creeps in the moment you're no longer around. Because here's what they didn't realize. You were the power source. You were the fire. You were the reason anything good was even happening. But they treated you like you were replaceable. Let me say it clearly. You are not replaceable. You are rare. You are real. You are relentless. And when someone loses that, it hurts. But they won't feel it right away. Oh, number. At first, they'll feel relief. They'll convince themselves they did the right thing. They'll pretend they're fine. They'll post pictures, smile in public, laugh in front of their friends. But deep down, something starts to shift. Something starts to crack. Because time does something cruel. It brings clarity, and that clarity, it hits hard when it's too late. They'll remember your silence, the day you walked away without begging, without explaining, without making a scene. That silence, it will haunt them, because silence screams truth. You didn't walk away out of weakness. You walked away because you finally understood. Staying was slowly killing you. Every second you stayed loyal to someone who never appreciated it was another knife in your back, a slow betrayal. One smile, one laugh, one moment at a time. But you took it. You endured. Because that's who you are. You are built for endurance. You are built for pressure. But you are not built for betrayal. You are not built to carry dead weight. You are not built to stay where you are not seen. So now, you evolve. You level up. Because one day soon, they'll look at their life and realize they lost the only person who truly had their back. And the moment that realization hits, that's when the pain begins. The real pain, not the surface kind, not the petty jealousy or regret. I'm talking about soul-deep regret, the kind that wakes them up at night. The kind that hits them mid-laugh and wipes the smile off their face. The kind that turns silence into screaming inside their head. That is what happens when you lose someone real. And you don't need revenge. You don't need to prove anything. You don't even need to be seen. Because the best revenge is success, is peace, is growth. Let me tell you something no one else will. You were never the problem. They just couldn't handle the fact that you were never theirs to own. You were a gift, not a possession, a force, not a follower. You showed up with honesty, with love, with effort, and they responded with indifference. They confused your kindness for weakness, your loyalty for desperation, your silence for submission. But now they'll see. They'll see what happens when the one they thought would always stay disappears. No warning, no message, just gone. And the hole you leave behind, it doesn't get filled because you weren't some background character in their life. You were the main act, the constant, the only real thing in a world full of distractions. They'll try to replace you. They'll chase cheap imitations, fake smiles, empty connections. But every time they look into those empty eyes, they'll remember yours. Eyes that saw them, heard them, felt them. You gave them the real thing, and they fumbled it. But you rise from this, not bitter, not broken, stronger. You rise like a storm, because every time someone doubts you, you get more dangerous. Every time someone walks away, you get more focused. And every time you are pushed to your limit, you transform. They thought they were breaking you, but they were forging you. Let them feel your absence. Let them sit in the silence. Let them wrestle with what they threw away. Because while they spiral, trying to fill the void, you build a kingdom, brick by brick, action by action, day by day. You'll be so far ahead, they won't even recognize you anymore. And when they try to come back, they won't find the old you waiting. That version is gone, burnt, buried, replaced. What rises now is untouchable, unbreakable, unforgivable, because you don't forget what it felt like to be taken for granted. You don't forget what it cost to love people who only used you when it was convenient. And now, you're no longer available for their games, no longer reachable for their drama, no longer playing the fool. You're focused, you're disciplined, you're done waiting for people to realize your worth. Now you make them watch. Watch as you turn silence into strength, pain into power, loss into legacy. You move different now. You think sharper. You act faster. Because now you know. You know who you are. You know what you bring. And you know what you'll never tolerate again. That version of you that begged, dead. The one that waited around for crumbs, gone. The one that apologized for taking up space, buried. What stands now is something else entirely, and the world isn't ready for it. But it's coming, because the pain they will feel for losing you, it won't be loud. It will be quiet, like regret, like shame, like silence that echoes. And you won't say a word, because your success will speak for you. Your peace will shine louder than any scream. Your growth will outshine every excuse they ever made. They had a chance. They lost it. Now it's your time. Time to rise. Time to build. Time to dominate. You didn't leave for revenge. You left for rebirth. Because there comes a moment in every warrior's life where silence is louder than screaming, where walking away is louder than fighting, where letting go becomes the most dangerous move you can make. And that moment, that was your turning point. You see, people don't change when you warn them. They change when it's too late. when the door slams, when the phone stops ringing, when the smile they took for granted disappears into the dark. That's when they feel it, the void, that deep, heavy emptiness where you used to be. Because no one gave like you did. No one showed up like you did. No one held it together like you did. And now that you're gone, everything falls apart. The chaos begins. The weight settles in. And the truth, it hits like a sledgehammer. They lost a one of one. Not everyone gets a second chance with greatness. Not everyone deserves it. And you're not going backward. You're not answering calls from ghosts. You're not feeding people who watched you starve. You're not rescuing people who drowned you with their hands. No more. You've changed. You've built walls not to keep love out, but to keep toxicity from ever crawling back in. You've built standards not to push people away, but to protect the parts of you that used to be too accessible. They're going to feel the shift. They already do. And what hurts them most is not that you left. It's that you never looked back, that you didn't beg, didn't explain, didn't try to prove anything. Because that silence, it says, I finally know my worth. You see, when you finally recognize your value, the world changes. You don't chase. You attract. You don't prove. You show. You don't wait. You build. Because you're not here to convince anyone anymore. You're here to conquer. And the truth? They needed you more than you ever needed them. Let that sink in. You were their anchor, their safety, their sanity. And they gambled with that. They played games with something sacred. They thought you'd never walk, but you did. And now every mirror they look into will reflect the same truth. I lost them, not just a person, not just a relationship. They lost a source, a light, a legacy. And you're becoming unrecognizable because you're no longer reacting, no longer explaining, no longer negotiating with chaos. You've upgraded from being available to being untouchable, from being understood to being undeniable. And they'll talk. They always do. You changed. You're different now. You think you're better. Yes, you are better, stronger, sharper, wiser, because pain taught you. Silence shaped you. Disrespect woke you up. And now, you're unstoppable. Let me tell you something deep. It wasn't your love that was the problem. It was their inability to receive it. They weren't ready for someone who gave without keeping score, who showed up with full heart, who stood by their side when no one else did. So, instead of rising to meet you, they pushed you away, and now they are stuck, watching you become everything they'll never have again. They'll watch your smile light up other rooms, your laughter echo in spaces they'll never enter, your power build empires they'll only see from afar. And what will they have? Memories, mistakes, and regret, the kind that lingers, the kind that never heals, the kind that whispers at night. You had something real, and you let it go. You're not here to punish. You're here to evolve. You're not here to hurt. You're here to build. But that pain they feel, that's just life giving them the consequences they earned. Because when someone fumbles loyalty, they don't get a second draft. They get the echo. They get the silence. They get the space where you used to be. And it is empty. It is quiet. It is cold. And the world doesn't stop turning for them anymore. It turns for you now. You move forward with fire, with vision, with purpose. And they're stuck replaying the moment they lost you, over and over and over again, while you never look back, because what's behind you is dust, and what's ahead is destiny. There's a moment in every storm when the wind goes quiet, the thunder fades, and all that's left is the wreckage. That's them now, standing in the middle of what they destroyed, trying to understand how it all slipped through their fingers. But you're already gone. You're already becoming something they can't reach. Because the greatest revenge is success they can never touch. They'll scroll through your life from the shadows, eyes burning, chest tightening, watching you rise, watching you smile, watching you give your energy to someone new, someone who values it, someone who can handle it. And that's when it hits. That's when it burns. Because they never expected to miss you like this. They thought you'd come back. They thought you'd fold. They thought you'd need them. But now, you are silence. You are distance. You are power. Let them feel it. Let them feel the absence of your warmth. The silence where your voice used to be. The stillness where your presence used to live. Let them feel the difference between being loved and being ignored. Because here's the truth. They took advantage of consistency. They disrespected devotion. They mistook kindness for weakness. So now they get the other side. The side that doesn't call back. The side that doesn't care. The side that walks away without a sound. That's you now. Not bitter. Just done. Not angry. Just elevated. And no, it's not about revenge. It's about standards. It's about self-respect. Because the person who loves the deepest also walks away the fastest once they're done. And you're done. You gave the warnings. You showed the signs. You swallowed your pride until it made you sick. But now you breathe freedom. Now you taste power. Now you move like someone who remembers who they are. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to prove anything. Because your silence, it screams. It tells them everything. That you're not the same. That you won't break again. That you've seen the truth. And you're never going back to blindness. They'll try to reach. They'll try to reconnect. They'll say all the things you needed to hear before. But guess what? Now it's too late, because closure doesn't come from them. It comes from deciding that you're done explaining, done shrinking, done begging people to treat you like you matter. And from that decision, you build empire, brick by brick, move by move, with focus so sharp it cuts through distractions. Let them feel the pain of losing you, not out of hate, but out of truth. Because maybe, just maybe, that pain is the only lesson they'll ever understand, the only language they truly listen to. Your kindness didn't reach them. Your loyalty didn't teach them. Your sacrifices didn't wake them up. But your absence? It speaks. It teaches. It punishes. It transforms. And the most brutal part? You're not even trying. You're not even thinking about them. You're too busy building, too busy healing, too busy becoming the most powerful version of yourself. That's what stings. That's what haunts them. That they became a distant memory in a life you've upgraded beyond recognition. And every time they think of you, they'll remember one thing. I had them. I lost them. I'll never find that again. They didn't believe you would walk away, because people who give the most are often underestimated the most. They think your silence is weakness. Your loyalty is blindness. Your patience is naivety. But it's not. It was control. You were observing, measuring, testing, waiting for that final sign. The one that said, enough is enough. And when it came, you didn't explode. You disappeared. No warning. No final plea. No dramatic goodbye. Just distance. Just silence. Just peace. That's what they never expected. They expected chaos. They expected emotion. They expected the old version of you. But that version is dead, buried under every time they disrespected your time, every time they laughed at your pain, every time they chose ego over effort. And now, they're stuck talking to the shadows. Shadows of who you used to be, trying to bargain with echoes, trying to rewind a clock that doesn't tick for them anymore. They'll try everything. Fake apologies, half-hearted check-ins, emotional manipulation dressed up as concern. But you won't bite. You won't flinch. Because the version of you that stayed died in the fire. And what rose is a warrior, colder, calmer, more focused than ever. You're no longer the one begging to be seen. You are the spotlight. You are the standard. You are the storm. Let them sit in the silence. Let them drown in the weight of what they lost, because that weight is made of every late-night conversation you gave them, every chance, every excuse, every drop of loyalty. It's not about making them suffer. It's about letting life do what it always does. Balance the scale. You gave freely. Now life takes from them what they thought they could play with. And what they feel now is not punishment. It's justice. Because when you mess with a real one, you don't get fireworks. You don't get revenge. You get ghosted. Permanently. You get to live with the fact that the person you needed most now acts like you don't exist. And that's not cruelty. That's clarity. You don't hate them. You just see them clearly, without illusion, without hope, without the lies you used to tell yourself to make their behavior okay. And what's left is just truth. Cold, heavy, undeniable truth. They never deserved you. And now, they never will again. Because the version of you that stayed too long, gave too much, trusted too easily, has been replaced by the version that sets fire to bridges and never looks back. By the version that builds alone, wins alone, and smiles at the silence like it's an old friend. This pain they feel, it's their teacher now. Let it teach them what your words couldn't. Let it break them in ways you never wanted to see. Because sometimes, the only way people learn is through the pain of your absence. And you're not just absent. You're evolving. They didn't just lose you. They lost a future where they were protected, a future where someone actually cared enough to stay, to fight, to build. But they mistook that care for weakness. They thought you'd always be available, always reachable, always forgiving. And now, they're left talking to their own guilt. That voice in their head doesn't shut up anymore. It echoes your name. It replays your kindness. It digs at their ego like a knife. That's not your burden anymore. That's theirs. Let them carry it. Let them sit in rooms where your laugh used to live. Let them scroll through your life and wonder, how did I lose that? Because you're not coming back. Not in a day. Not in a year. Not even in memory. Because the version of you that begged to be chosen died when they walked away. And the version that stands now doesn't wait to be chosen. Doesn't need to be validated. Doesn't even flinch. Because now you know who you are. And when you know who you are, you stop asking people to see it. You just live it. You just embody it. You just radiate it. And the world, it notices. Not because you shouted louder, but because you moved quieter, with intention, with power, with presence. That's what they lost. That's what haunts them at night. Because they didn't just lose a person. They lost a light. They lost a force of nature. They lost the one person who would have gone to war for them. And now, you go to war for yourself. You channel every ounce of pain into precision. You take every betrayal and turn it into building blocks. You use every scar as armor. And now, nothing touches you the same way. No insult. No silence. No abandonment. Because you've already walked through fire. And anyone who walks through fire stops fearing flames. So when they whisper your name now, it's in regret. It's in longing. It's in shame. And that's not vengeance. That's consequence. You didn't have to destroy them. You just had to walk away and become everything they secretly hoped you'd never become. Untouchable. unbothered, unforgettable. You became a ghost with a crown, a legend they can't reach, a force they'll never get back. And you didn't do it to hurt them. You did it to save yourself. Because there comes a time in every warrior's life where you stop swinging for others and start sharpening your blade for your own war. This was yours, and you won. So don't look back. Don't second guess. Don't soften the edges you earned in hell. Let them feel the pain of losing you. Let it echo. Let it echo until they understand what they lost was never about the things you gave. It was about who you are. And now they'll never have access to that again. Let them feel it. Let them drown in it. And you keep moving with fire in your lungs, steel in your spine, and silence on your lips. Because when they finally understand what they lost, it'll be far too late.